A false flag operation is a covert operation designed to deceive, oftentimes an entire nation, to make them believe a particular group or other nation is responsible for some activity. Many events like this have happened in order to further the agenda of governments who want to galvanize a nation to get behind that agenda, but nothing stays buried for long. Many events have been exposed as false flags. The following are just such cases which will leave you speechless. Here are 10 sinister false flag operations. Number 10 is the Mukden Incident. Also known as the Manchurian Incident, the Mukden Incident was used to justify an entire war. The war in question was the Second Sino-War between Japan and China. The false flag operation which led to this conflict was carried out on the 18th of September 1931. A lieutenant in the Japanese army planted explosives next to a railway line which was used by Japan's own South Manchuria Railway. The explosion was intended to weaken the track and derail the next passing train. However, the explosion wasn't strong enough and it only damaged the track. It was still used as an excuse for war by the Imperial Japanese Army, who falsely claimed that Chinese dissidents had planted the explosives in a direct attack on Japanese sovereignty. This was used by Japan as an excuse to invade and conquer the region. Number 9 is Operation Northwoods. Operation Northwoods is one of the most controversial proposed false flag incidents in history. Not just because it was to be perpetrated by the United States to start a war with Cuba, but also because it was overseen by the Department of Defense and the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the US government. Operation Northwoods would have given permission to the United States government to attack its own civilians and military, and then blame this on the Cuban government. The attacks were to include sinking Cuban refugee boats, hijacking commercial American flights, and blowing up a US ship, and orchestrating You know what time it is, just lay back, relax, and get ready for the facts. Here are 50 amazing facts to blow your mind. The average human being weighing 70 kilograms contains within them over 0.2 milligrams of pure gold. The word twindlings, which means twins or twinlings, is the longest word in the English language that contains no vowels. For men, wearing a green hat in China is a fashion no-no, as it's considered a sign that their wife has cheated on them with another man. The tradition dates back to the Yuan dynasty, when the families of prostitutes were forced to wear green headgear to reveal their shame. Despite only having 0.06% of the whole world's human population, the Kalenjin community in Kenya is home to the athletes responsible for winning nearly 70% of all elite distance running races worldwide. In the 2013 Berlin Marathon, female runners from Kenya won first, second, and fourth places, while male Kenyans won first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. The fastest time overall was Wilson Kipsang's at 2 hours, 3 minutes and 23 seconds, the fastest marathon time ever recorded to that date. In late November of 1990, world champion boxer Muhammad Ali flew to Iraq and met with dictator Saddam Hussein. He then somehow managed to negotiate the release of 15 American prisoners being held there and brought them all home to the United States. This was despite the fact that then President George H.W. Bush did not approve. Before he passed away on July 4th, 2013, 55-year-old Cleveland Browns superfan Scott Ensminger requested that 6 members of his favorite team step in as pallbearers, claiming that he wanted the Browns to let him down one last time. Ooh, that's savage. That is a savage way to go. In Slovakia and a few other places in Europe, it's a common tradition at Christmas time to have a carp swim in the family's bathtub for a day or two before it's killed and prepared for Christmas Eve dinner. How do these traditions get started? Like, seriously. In 1974, 17-year-old Neville Eben was riding his moped in Hamilton, Bermuda, when he was struck by a taxi and tragically killed. Around a year later, his brother Erskine was riding that same moped on the same road when he was hit and killed by the same taxi, driven by the same man. Back in 1889, when Nintendo was opened as a playing card company, their products became incredibly popular with, of all people, the Yakuza. The organized